last
Well, he's going to go down. He's not done yet. We don't want to talk like he's ready to call it quits. But I think it's a great accomplishment. Anytime you have your name in an organization's record book, it's an accomplishment. It's something that is not going to go away anytime soon. But, he means a lot to this organization, what he's contributed, where this organization's come from, where it's been, and where it's going. And he's a big cog of that. Again, I go back 5 years ago when we first got here, we were close to 30th in everything. Now, the expectations gone up, the where we are in the league, the respect that we've got in the league is different, and DeMar is one of the main reasons for that.
What do you take from that game in Minnesota back before the break?
That they kicked our butt. I'd like to use another word, but I can't. Like we stole something. We played the first half, and the second half we started the All-Star break. And we talked about that this morning. They got whatever they wanted to get. They made passes they wanted to pass at every position. Second unit was non-existent. And, that's what I got from that game. Nothing more, nothing less. We totally got dominated in the second half.
Karl-Anthony Towns had a career high in that game. Where do you have to force him in order on the floor to slow him down?
Well, he's so versatile. I don't know if you can force him to do anything. He's inside, he's outside. When Pat was on him, he went inside and started going to work in the post. When Luis was on him, he pulled him out, and then he started going to the basket. So he's going to do according to what the defense's ability is guarding him. He's shooting the outside shot. He got a inbound shot on Pat. We fell asleep on that on the pin down. So he's doing a little bit of everything with the basketball, stretching the floor. He's going to be people talk. Porzingis is going to be a heck of a player, but this kid too is probably ahead of him right now as far as his versatility, his physicality, his feel for the game. Both those young men are going to be heck of players in this league for a long time.
Do you even look at him as a rookie at this point, just based on what he's able to do?
Well, not yet. Well, yeah, he's still a rookie, but yet and still, he's advanced. He's advanced mentally. He's mature as a young man, if you know him, and so he's not your typical rookie, so to speak, in years-wise. But in the league, he's still a rookie, but. He's growing right before our eyes. And the last 5 games, they've been the number 2 offensive team in the entire league.
He's 20 years old. How good do you think he's going to be?
I think he's going to be very good. I said in New York, I thought Porzingis was going to be like Dirk, and this kid can be like Garnett. And probably, more skilled out on the perimeter than Garnett. I don't know, and I think he's being around Garnett, some of that fire and some of that intensity is rubbing off on him, because I see him going for some loose balls and rebounds that I didn't see early in the year.
Where have you seen the biggest area of growth in Wiggins this year?
Just his overall feel. He understands now he can vault up over the defense and get a shot at any time. His post game, he doesn't get sped up. He's more under control, just like all young guys, evolving into their game. That's I think is the biggest area I've seen, is just he's just taking his time now, letting the game come to him more.
How does Towns change that dynamic? There was a lot of pressure on Wiggins last year as the #1 pick, not just 2 guys there to help each other, I guess.
Well, he's not the focal point. He's more the old guy out there now. Nobody's just going crazy now, like getting all the fanfare with Wiggins and all that. Now that everybody's talking about Towns, so the spotlight is kind of off of Wiggins, and so that helps him slow down, play his game. But again, spotlight is on him, because he also, I don't know what his numbers were in our last game, but he had his way with us also in the low post.
This league has become so much about scoring, point guards. Rubio's a throwback, a pass first. Can you succeed, win big with a guy with a scoring guard?
I think you can. Jason Kidd was a scoring guard when he started, but he ended up number 3 in all-time three-point list. So it can evolve. I think the intelligence, the smarts, the feel for the game, that's something you can't teach. I think you can work on your three-point shot, and that's what Jason Kidd did. But what you couldn't teach was his intelligence, his feel for the game. and that's why he's going to be a Hall of Fame point guard. And I think Rubio has that feel. He sees the floor, excellent passer, and his shot is not broke. I mean, it's with repetitions and time and work, he can be he was 3 for 3 against us. So, it's not like it's totally broke, Jerry. I think it's something if the kid, decide to work on it and make it one of his priorities. I hope he doesn't anytime soon. But he can be a good three-point shooter.
And when you got guys like Towns and Wiggins and Levine, you maybe don't need guys who need their shots.
That's right. I'm not helping Minnesota, but that's it would be my thinking.
There was a point early in the season, you guys were 4-4 at home, where you were a little bit concerned about taking care of business here. Since then, you guys have had success here. You've won 8 in a row. Are you sort of pleased with the?
No,
the
Josh,
position?
never. I'm never satisfied. Not comfortable. I'm not going to get comfortable. I'm not going to fall in a trap where we need to be, because we're not. And this team right here showed us we're not. Chicago showed us we're not. So we can't feel comfortable, and the only time we can be a good team is when we're on edge. When we're on edge, and we were on edge against Memphis. We were on edge against New York. And we got to stay on edge. I'm not falling, for all the, number 2 in the conference and all that. We're not good enough to feel that way.
But have you seen a little bit more of that edge?
No, I have not. Well, a little bit.
Over the last...
Well, Memphis, I did. Yeah. I saw it. But that's the last time I saw it was in Memphis and a little bit in New York.
Who sets the tone for that? Is it one guy?
Everybody. I think everybody's got to come out of the locker room on edge. And feel like, okay, our back's against the wall, somebody's coming in our house trying to kick our butt. And when we don't feel that way, when we go, start believing the hype and falling prey to all the trappings, is when you get beat. And I think that happened to us in Minnesota. Everybody's kind of looking forward to the All-Star game, and we played hard. I think we had, an 18-point lead in the first half, and we talked about it at halftime. It's not over. This team is going to come out, continue to play hard. They're going to get after you. And, we started thinking about All-Star weekend, I thought. And Chicago, we were still in All-Star mode, vacation mode. So everybody's got to is responsible for that, including coaching staff, our organization, everybody.
You get to this stage of the season, and it's very unlikely you fall out of the playoffs. And, you're in a good situation through 50-odd games. So how do you keep your group focused and on that?
What I'm saying right now, it's not going to go away. So if you don't want to keep hearing the same things, don't ask me, because I'm going to be talking about staying on point, staying focused the rest of the way. And we've been doing that for the last couple of years, to break the season down in 5-game segments and series and stuff like that. But one thing we got to do is make sure we monitor the minutes. I don't know. We have the luxury of sitting guys out and resting, taking games off. You got to be in an elite position to do that. And we may pick some situations later on in the season, but I got to monitor the minutes as much as we can with some of our guys.
An old coach once told me finding different words to say the same things.
That's right. And what's the philosophy for being insane is doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same results. And again, I promise you, you're gonna hear it over and over again. We're not gonna relax. We can't. We're gonna continue to practice. We're gonna continue to work defensively. We're gonna continue to work offensively. And because again, we haven't done anything. We haven't even last year we didn't do anything. So we made the playoffs the last 2 years. We were a shot away from getting to the second round the first year. But, we're still a growing program, and we can't fall into the trapping that, hey, we've arrived.
Did that sort of go into the thinking and bringing back home shoot-arounds this year? I know you sort of got out of it a little bit last year.
No, we had home shoot-arounds just before a game. Yeah, we just had them before the game instead of in the morning.
Right, but bringing them back in the morning, was that sort of go into thinking of?
Not really, no. We just changing it up.
Okay.
We probably will go back to the afternoons later on in the year too.
Maybe just catch and play with the goal.
Yeah, that's a goal. That's a goal. We still have them, but the most important thing, not the standings. We got to make sure we continue to improve. and again, be the hungry animal. And that's the only way I think in this league that you can be successful. You got to have something to prove. Again, I hate to go back there, but in Dallas, all those old guys, they had one thing to prove, and that was to win. They had made all their money, they had made all the all-star teams and all that, but they had something to prove, was to win, and that was the one goal they had. And then we're in the same. Our young guys, we haven't done anything. We've got to establish ourselves in the league, and try to become an elite team.